You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
The Tigers' perfect run in conference play unfortunately comes to an end. We'll recap games against USF and Tulane, document Jaykwon Walton's journey to Memphis, and take a look ahead at UAB. It's The Penny Hardaway Show. Let's go.
The Penny Hardaway Show is presented by Cook's Pest Control. You don't have to live with pests. Call Cook's Pest Control and get a free quote today. Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. Tiger Bookstore, the official merchandiser of Tiger Athletics. AutoZone, when you've got car trouble, you want help from number one. So if you've got a battery problem, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And supported by your Memphis area Toyota dealers.
In this day in college basketball, there is so much parity. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Willocean.
And I'm Matt Infield. The Tigers' perfect streak in the AAC comes to an end. Let's check out the highlights against USF at Tulane. Tigers starting the week at home against South Florida. First half was all Memphis all the time. Javon Quitterly, a little razzle-dazzle on the break to Jaykwon Tomlin for the up and under layup. Later in the half, David Jones crosses his man on the break to the rim, off-balance finish, count it and one. Memphis lead as big as 20 at one point, but the Bulls chipped away in the second half. Jaden Reed to the rim, lays it in to tie the game at 73 with under a minute left. USF took the lead on a free throw with under 10 seconds left. Second one by Kason Pryor off the mark. Memphis rebound. Javon Quitterly try for his third game winner of the season, but not to be. Tigers lose a heartbreaker at home to USF 74-73. Memphis looking for a Sunday bounce back in New Orleans against Tulane. Our defensive player of the week is Malcolm Dandridge, who looked like Hakeem Olajuwon on that end. This rejection starts the fast break. Quitterly gonna finish it with a layup. Malco with 8 blocks in the game, the most by a Tiger since Dedrick Lawson in 2016. Our outstanding performance of the week belongs to Jones, who was on one in the second half. 3 ball, good. He had 32 in the game, 22 of those coming after halftime. Tied at 77, under 2 to play. Colin Holloway gets the bucket to fall to put the Green Wave up by 2. Same deficit, under 10 seconds left. Tigers can tie or win the game. Jones gets a good look from deep. Too strong, long rebound out to him, but this shot is blocked. That's the ball game. Memphis loses 2 games by a total of 3 points this week.
Coach, back in the day when you were a player, you'd have guys around you that were teammates for 2, 3, maybe 4 years. Now, as we've seen, you're a master at it. You're bringing in new guys every single year. How do you build a culture when it's always changing?
Yeah, that's very difficult, but the city helps me do that. The fans themselves, they get on Instagram, they get on Twitter, they get on social media, they make the guys feel very welcome. And then when they come in, we get together and talk a lot. We eat together, and then the foreign trip that we had really helped. A lot of the road games really helped. And then coming back home, going out to eat, eating together. I don't think the fans understand that. We go out to eat the night before every game, a home game. And it's the bonding there. Staying in a hotel the night before the home games, bonding. So it's a ton of bonding with these guys and just talking to them all the time about being more comfortable, what makes them, and then asking them their opinion about where they are. If they're not from here, what do they like about the city? What do they need, to be more comfortable? And it all works out.
Talk about brand new teams basically every year. That has never been more prevalent than this year's team with all these new guys you brought in. I'm curious, was there any worry going into the season about how the guys would come together or whether egos would clash and things like that?
Well, you always worry about that, but I felt like this year we went after good guys first that were talented. We didn't just go after the talent. And having good guys, we have a great group of guys that really love and care for one another. They're very close. So that really helped. I was worried until we went out and got the good guys. When you just go get talent, sometimes that can hurt you.
What is the toughest part about that? To mesh, especially this year where you had all these scorers. You've had multiple games over 20 assists now. How did you get them to buy into that?
Well, they have to want to do it first. They have to want the buy-in first. They come from different walks of life. They come from different systems to come to our system, which is way different. So with everybody having to learn together, they kind of bonded together to talk about what's more difficult, what's easier, what they need our help, where they need our help, where they need the help from one another. And there's accountability partners, with these guys. They kind of help each other through all the tough times.
You brought it up just a second ago, the Dominican trip as a team over the summer before you guys really get into the thick of it in the fall. How big was that in bringing these guys together before you really got into it?
Well, the Dominican trip was good for a majority because we didn't have Malcolm, we didn't have David. And, Jalen Young, that was his very first trip. But the rest of the crew, just to learn each other. You just need to know who's who and who you're going to go to war with. And that trip really helped.
How much of this is on your staff? How much is this on like the leaders, like Quinterly, who clearly is the leader on the floor, or Malcolm, who's the guy that came back that knows your system? How did you get them to all become buddies?
Well, it started with Malcolm and Jaden, because those were the last two guys from the previous team to welcome those guys in and kind of let them know the lay of the land. And then it took a Quinterly, a David Jones, a Jaykwon Walton to be like, okay, we're buying in because we want to win.
How much easier is it with a group of older players trying to get them to bond and gel and mesh compared to if you had, as teams you've had in the past, a lot of freshmen, a lot of younger guys?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult both ways because the guys have been doing their own thing, their own way for so long, and they have to buy into the sacrifice of being a great teammate. Whereas the previous years, it was all about you. Now it's about us. And I think they do a good job of just talking to one another and saying, what makes them feel comfortable.
How important is it for you to be a buddy as opposed to being a teammate? I hear this a lot. Well, we do like each other. Is that a critical aspect? I mean, I'm not sure you loved every teammate you had, but you certainly gave them the ball on the floor.
Yeah, there's definitely a fine line between being a teammate and a buddy. A teammate is going to tell you the truth. Sometimes the buddy takes your side, and you need someone to just tell you the truth. And if your buddy is a competitor and wants to win, he'll always say the truth. But teammates have to hold each other accountable.
Besides the trip, the Dominican and then to the Bahamas for the Battle for Atlantis, is there a moment, a meal this year that comes to mind where you could think, wow, this team is really coming together and there could be something special brewing here?
I think the Thanksgiving meal, that we had over in the Bahamas, being thankful for where we were in the beautiful Bahamas with family and friends, and just continue to just learn each other and know each other during that moment.
So we see the way it is right now. Do you foresee Portal NIL, this thing to keep going this way, that you're going to have to change teams, integrate guys from here on out?
I think that's just where we are right now in the day and time at Memphis. It was all about freshmen before. Now it's about Portal guys because, you have to do so much recruiting to get the young guys. You have to build relationships for 2 or 3 years to get that kid. You can't go in last minute. In the Portal, you get to know a kid for a week, bring him on campus, and you can sell the facility and the arena and the fans, and then they'll sign.
I'm not trying to aid you here, but when you look at these guys and how they bond, how much different is it compared to when you were a player?
No, it's much different because we were already close. We played AAU together. We played AAU against one another. We were just close-knit. We didn't have all of the distractions that they had today. All we had was basketball. So we just bonded way better now. So it's more distractions, but this team is much closer than the previous teams I've had.
Jaykwon Walton has become a pivotal piece on this year's team, but not before some bumps on the road on the way here. We'll sit down with him. Coming up next.
You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Welcome back to The Penny Hardaway Show. Jaykwon Walton was a prize recruit coming out of high school, going to play for his home state team, but things didn't work out there, and it took him nearly 3 years to finally show his skills on the D1 level. Now, his time has finally arrived.
Walton is a product of Columbus, Georgia, a city he represents with pride, as evidenced by a tattoo with it spelled out on his right arm.
It means a lot. It's where I grew up at for the majority of my life. And it's where all my family resides still to this day, so I love that city. I love it.
It's also a city where Walton admits It's easy to get caught in the wrong environment, and in high school, he, his mom, and his younger brother moved to Montgomery, Alabama. There, he was a key part of a state championship winning team at George Washington Carver High School as a junior.
Averaged 19, 8, and 4. Where does winning a high school state championship rank in your coolest basketball moments?
Oh, probably top three for sure. Yeah, that was a great feeling, man. Top 3. Man, it's hard to explain because I had never done it before, but man, that was a great feeling there.
He was a 4-star recruit out of high school with plenty of programs pursuing him. In the end, he opted to go home and committed to Georgia.
It was really, because I was in the state, really I was from that state, I thought that was gonna be a good fit for me, but things happen, and yeah, things happen for a reason. I'm glad I went there. I learned a lot, I grew a lot.
But it wasn't the storybook homecoming Walton was hoping for. He played in just 7 games his freshman year, far less action than he expected.
I was expecting, at least 15 minutes a game. I feel like I could have helped the team with those 15 minutes, but if you're a freshman and your coach not really letting you be you, all I can say is just stay in the gym and just wait your turn. I'm telling you, the table's gonna turn, for sure.
And the situation in Athens only got worse from there. After playing in just 2 games his sophomore season, Walton decided to enter the transfer portal.
Man, after that second game, I knew I wasn't playing the minutes that I was supposed to, and I was I was one of the best on the team, so I was like, man, I can't get treated this way for my second year. I don't have that many years left, I'm trying to make the best of all my years, so after that, I was kind of out of it. And I called my mom. I was like, man, I can't keep doing it here, so I'm gonna transfer.
It was a fork in the road and the lowest point of Walton's basketball career.
I had to go back home and reroute, trying to find a new school, trying to just figure out. At the time I was going through, I was depressed a lot of those days. So some days I didn't want to see the gym, some days the gym would help. Just a lot of ups and downs throughout that year. And then it was COVID too, so I couldn't really do too much. So, man, the gym or at home was the 2 main places I was at until I found my next school.
From there, he took his talents to Tuscaloosa, but not for the Crimson Tide. Shelton State, a JUCO, was the place where he resurrected his basketball career.
But the importance of that year, what do you think was the biggest takeaway from it?
Never give up, though. Yeah, I say that was the most important thing. I didn't give up. I still went to a school, no matter what level it was on. I still went there, and I tried. I never gave up. Yeah.
After a successful season with the Buccaneers, Walton entered the portal again, and he was a hot commodity.
It was more overwhelming than the first time out of high school, because now you got more schools trying to reach out to you, and this your second decision time around. You don't really know who to trust this time around because you just you felt played the first time at the University of Georgia. And I was like, man, you can't go to no coach and it's gonna be the same thing all over again. So yeah, it was tough.
Through a connection, he eventually landed at another AAC school, Wichita State, under head coach Isaac Brown.
I was super amped, man. I couldn't wait for the season. I was preparing myself like no other, because I know this is a blessing to be here. Last year was really my first real year on a good platform, a real Division I level. So when I got the opportunity, I performed, and I knew I belonged there. So yeah, it was exciting.
Walton made the most of his time with the Shockers, leading the team in scoring at a super efficient clip from the field and the 3-point line. He finally got a chance to show how good he was.
It was amazing, man, because I worked my whole life, just watching Wichita growing up and stuff like that. Man, it was amazing just to play in front of that crowd. I knew I had worked my butt off, in the preseason. So I was ready. I stayed locked in the gym, and I was ready.
However, Brown was fired at the end of last season, and Walton jumped back in the portal again.
What's the biggest priority in your mind? Is it winning? Is it the role you're gonna have? Talk me through that.
Winning, because, at Wichita, we had kind of a down season, so I wanted to win. And, just go somewhere where I can fit and play with other good players.
Memphis came into the picture late, but the Tigers did have an advantage of sorts because Walton had already established the connection with the 901.
You know, I played with Team Thad my 11th grade year. 11th grade summer, I ran with Team Thad. And then after that, I took a visit to Memphis when Penny first got here. And after that, I just fell in love with the city.
Walton had a great start to his Tiger career with double-digit points in 4 of his first 5 games before falling into an extended shooting slump. Lately, however, he looks to be finding his footing.
Like I said, I wanted to play with other good players, and I finally got on the team where I was playing with good players, so my role kind of changed a little bit, but I was trying to impact the team in ways that I was last year, but I realized, like, man, we got scores, we got rebounds, we got other things, so I had to become something else on the team to, like, boost my confidence back to the level, so I feel like it was a confidence thing for me, so I'm ready now.
Do you think this is the most talented team you've ever played on in your life?
By far, it's not even close, man. With JQ, David Jones, and Jaykwon, Tomlin, Caleb Mills before he got injured, man, Penny Hardaway, and there's a lot of guys, man, so it's not even close.
What's that experience been like in terms of what you bring to the table, and now you're finally in a position where other guys can bring those same things and maybe things that you don't bring to the table, everything kind of complements one another, and you guys are winning on top of that. To finally have this experience after everything you've been through, how cool has that been?
It's amazing, man. It's like a dream come true. I wasn't really winning much before I got here, and to get on the team and even have a number by your name means a lot. So that says everything you can say about the team.
Just one game this week, a trip to Birmingham is on deck. We'll preview UAB coming up next.
You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control. Let's take a look at the AutoZone road ahead.
Coach, up on the docket, our old rival UAB. So good to have that game back. What's your best memory of UAB?
My best memory of UAB was going there, and I remember this dunk that I had on the fast break. They always played us tough, but to win there was always special, and I had a fast break dunk that I vaguely remember.
And our old friend, Andy Kennedy, who's been around the block, he's a tough coach.
Yeah, Coach Kennedy and I have, grown a relationship over the years just from talking about basketball and seeing him on the road. Really smart guy, always has his teams playing at a high level.
And here we go. You got to win these road games to maintain your position in the ranking.
Yeah, well, we know where we are and what we have to do. You have to win to keep your respect. You have to win to put yourself in position to get a high level seeding in the NCAA tournament.
I guess the best thing about this is it's close enough. We should have some fans there.
Oh, yeah, that's a close ride. We'll get some people to come down to UAB for sure.
That was tonight's AutoZone Road Ahead. AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination and official sponsor of Tiger Athletics. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Bartow Arena is a great place to watch a basketball game. Maybe we'll see you there. Back with a wrap in just a minute.
You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next Sunday night. Have a great week, everybody.
The Penny Hardaway Show is presented by Cook's Pest Control. You don't have to live with pests. Call Cook's Pest Control and get a free quote today. Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. Tiger Bookstore, the official merchandiser of Tiger Athletics. AutoZone, when you've got car trouble, you want help from #1. So if you've got a battery problem, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And supported by your Memphis area Toyota dealers. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Memphis. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of Memphis and Learfield.